one get into the mindset of an owl? What did you have to do to be this owl?
Well, I play a bad owl, so I kind of imagined myself as a big pompous politician sort of. Mind you, they're all warriors.
Yeah.
But I just, whenever we're recording, I'd sort of kind of fluffed myself up, made myself very feathery, important, and one of those kind of why do they cast me as these sort of people? I don't get it.
I don't know, because you're such a nice guy.
You're absolutely right. Such a nice guy playing such a bad owl.
But you see, that's the fun of being an actor, don't you think? Being a badass in a movie, isn't that more fun?
Yeah, I always say it's good to be bad, and it was good to be bad in this.
Now, do you enjoy the animation process, the voiceover process? Now, for this one, I would think you're in a booth by yourself, you've got your lines, nobody to interact off of. What's that like for you as an actor?
Yeah, well, I'm sort of used to it because I've done things like The Simpsons where you never meet Homer. What how disappointing is that? But what was nice with this was that we'd come back every month or so. I'd come back and do a little bit more, and they'd change something, and so I was able to see things in development. It was like watching, when you put a photograph into the.
Yeah.
This is old technology now, and you probably don't remember this, you're too young. But in the old days when you used to develop a photo, you'd put it in the bath and you'd see the image come up, And so it was a bit like seeing that, it was all sort of coming to life every time I'd come back.
And is it easier or harder for you as an actor to not have someone to play off of?
It's always good to have other actors in the room, but it's just the way it's done.
Yeah, I mean, does it? But I would think it would be more of a challenge. I would think, because
Possibly,
you've got no one to guide you. You're saying these lines.
But then you'd come back next time and you'd hear the other guys' voices, so that you were at least working with other voices eventually.
Mm-hmm. Why, Zack Snyder, from all the films that he does, his visions are just incredible. He's got such an amazing imagination. Why do you think he was the perfect guy to direct a film like this?
Well, Zack, first of all, is a quintessential action director, and there's a lot of action in this film. It's very lively, and he does that better than. There's nobody who does it better than Zack. The second thing is that. One of the things that's fun for a grown-up, and it's a film that you can take your kids to, and it works very, very, very well for children. I was really interested to see how much the kids were responding to it last night. But from an adult point of view, it's interesting to start looking at the saga itself and seeing what's being referenced. And I was picking up all sorts of, of course, it makes nods to Lord of the Rings and to Star Wars and a number of contemporary things. But of course, these films themselves go back to much earlier sagas like Beowulf and, of course, Cain and Abel. There are all kinds of things that have been that have influence on this extraordinary kind of story of the hero's journey, and I think if there's one thing that runs through Zack's films, it's that idea of a reluctant hero earning his spurs. The adolescent becomes the man, or the owlet becomes the owl warrior.
It's great. I think he's done a wonderful job with this. One of the themes in the film is meeting your hero, living up to meeting someone that you've just admired your whole life, and then you get to meet your hero. Is there anybody, especially in your long and such varied career, that you get on set, there was somebody maybe you wanted to work with that you just admired so much and it just lived up to your expectation? Is there anybody like that?
So many actors, but there's two heroes I met that I will never forget, that weren't actors actually. One of them was a man called Charles Upham, who was the only man in the Second World War that won 2 Victoria Crosses, There are only 3 men in history that ever wore double Victoria Crosses. 2 in the First War, only 1 in the Second War, and that was Charles Upham. He was a New Zealander, an extraordinary soldier who was, again, a reluctant hero. He didn't really want to be a soldier, and became this extraordinary, heroic figure, the greatest, arguably the greatest soldier from the Second World War, who was, by then, a humble farmer who lived in North Canterbury in New Zealand. The second one was Ed Hillary, who was the first man to climb Mount Everest. And again, a very humble, ordinary man. And that was a revelation, actually. Yeah. And when the old hero turns up, played by Geoffrey Rush, it's a scruffy little ordinary owl that no one suspects was the greatest owl hero of all time.
It's pretty amazing. Very quickly, what are we going to hear or see from you next?
What?
What's going to come from you next? Are you working on anything right now? Or?
Yeah, I've got a few things coming up, and I'm about to go to Toronto to a movie there.
Oh, good. Well, keep an eye out for you. Good stuff.
Thank
We
you.
always love having you in Toronto. Lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much, and
Thank you
great
very
job in
much.
this. You scared me a little bit.